we know we're no longer in this Bitcoin bubble. Remember that we talked about how likely it is for a breakout to the upside just before we talked about Bitcoin growth channels? Sure enough, we saw this happen again. It was an upward slope that broke down, just like with the 10-year yield. This is your Bitcoin bubble, and it burst on the right side. First, what do we have in front of us? Last week, the main cryptocurrency was very unstable because of news that the US Securities and Exchange Commission might approve an Ethereum ETF by the end of the week. In response, prices went up several times, and on Tuesday they hit almost $1.72, is $1,000 for the first time since early April. Over the next few days, however, the excitement began to fade. On Thursday, BTC fell to $1.66400 just hours before the US government approved the 8-spot ETH ETF. There was finally a push by the bulls, which led to another run that helped Bitcoin make up some lost ground and get close to $1.70,000 over the weekend. It went back down for a short time, but yesterday it went on the offensive again and spiked to a multi-day high of $1.70,500. The bulls were getting ready for a run towards the all-time high, but things changed again, possibly because of what was going on with MT-GOX. The price of the coin dropped to $1.67,500 in just a few hours, losing about $3 million. BTC is now trading just a few centimeters above that local low, but its market value has dropped to $1.330 million. It still doesn't have more than 50% of the alt's power. As long as you stay above this important level, you still have that positive view most of the time, right? If you look closely, you can see that your double top is worth $74,400,000. That level will automatically be a resistance since it was the last high. But to be honest, I think you probably hit that as long as we stay above this zone, check back a bit, and then move up, maybe even above those all-time highs. What's the risk now? Is Bitcoin at risk? Yes, there is. A big drop in the stock market would be the only risk. I don't want to say that to crypto people because I know many of them are like, we don't even care anymore, but they are still connected because of how people think and feel. Also, if people get scared in the stock market because it starts going down, they will naturally be afraid of losing money in crypto, which will lead to some selling. A lot of people will not buy because they are afraid, even if it doesn't sell very much. You should remember that, because that's what it means to me as I look at all the risks, such as regulatory risk, government global risk, and so on. To be honest, that's not even that important to me. That doesn't bother me much when it comes to crypto. Crypto is going to do its thing. Some coins will make it through. There will be coins that do really well. Some coins will not work. But crypto is here to stay in the end. I'm afraid of that risk on, risk off thing. That's what we see on the Bitcoin chart. Now think back to Ethereum. There was a lot of talk about how an ETF might be accepted. It looks like the SEC is more interested in that. That's something we look at. We had a lovely wedge, and look at how it broke. There was a huge breakout to the upside. One thing you should keep in mind is that this is a high point around 3,800. We've come down just below that high point. Once more, we closed above, but remember there was no proof. The break above this level hasn't been established yet. We're back down now. Keep an eye on this trend. Could we get this move? Don't forget what kind of pattern this is. Yes, a move up and a settlement sideways. What do you call that? Yay, that's what you're really seeing here. Can the price stay the same and then go up to $4,100? If things start to change too quickly, like if the SEC suddenly says no to the ETF, there will be a big drop. There is one good thing about this, though. Look at what went on here. It was a wedge shape that hit right here, and then down here. It goes all the way back here, all the way back here, all the way through these lows. What does this turn into now? A lot of help. Let's say that people get scared when they say no to the ETF, and the price goes back down to this level. We now know for sure. That's your close-up. Here's your second move above that confirms the wedge's exit. Technical analysis says that any drop into this level is a chance to buy. At least it makes it more likely that something good will happen. That's pretty cool right there. It opens up doors for both of us. If it keeps going up, there will be a short at some point. If it keeps going down, we should buy it, right? That's the great thing about trading. Gold today isn't doing much, it's just moving around. We will have the Fed minutes at 2, which will have an effect on the US dollar and prices in the long run. Obviously, that will have an effect on gold. Again, will we be able to break above this level of resistance, which is around 24, 30, and 35? This negative bearish candle here will not happen if we close above. You would then move up to about $2,500. The SP 500 is there. This is the chart for 10 minutes. Now we have a market that pretty much closed right here yesterday, and it's moving down just a little bit before the market opens. But once more, this is a very, very small thing. I don't think there will be a big change in price early in the day. We might get a little push in one direction or the other from the Fed minutes at 2 p.m. But really everything, the whole market depends on Nvidia's earnings report, which is due out today at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time. That's not all though. I'm going to trade the close, and then I'll keep trading the close until Nvidia reports their earnings. We're going to watch them come out live, along with the prices and how the market reacts as a whole. The markets are moving flat to maybe a little lower. Look at TGTT to see what the big mover of the day was. People, this is a big move. There will be a 10% drop at Target. Now, they missed making money. They did reiterate the advice, but once more, it's clear that people are pulling back in this market. I thought it was very interesting that Target said, listen, the consumer is still doing okay. They're just going back to spending like they did before the pandemic. What they meant was that people are going back to looking for deals and sales and will only buy when the deals are really, really good. That shows you put stress on the customer. Just remember that. There are more and more signs that the customer is being pushed. Guys, I always tell you this, we owe $1.1 million on our credit cards. This is the kind of debt where you buy something now and pay for it later. It costs you $700 billion. That's almost $2 trillion just for people who buy things. We haven't even talked about home loans, car loans, or other loans. Also, we're not going to talk about the US debt because it's so silly now. No matter what, though, what are the numbers for today on TGT? Now let's look at the daily chart, and I've already crossed them out, guys. This level is really great. Should it be done today, at least for a day trade? What about a swing trade? Guys, pay attention to this. This level goes all the way back to 2022. It goes straight through this high point and these low points. And my level is about 136. After that, I watched 136. Right now, trading is taking place around the 140 mark. But I will say this, today in the Apex Live Day Trading Room, we will be keeping an eye on this level and maybe